High Representative Mogherini, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David Friedberg, as most of you know, the director of the Italian Academy for Advanced Studies here at Columbia. And I'm really delighted to have with us this afternoon High Representative Federica Mogherini, who is the High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. We should not forget that these days, and is also a Vice President of the European Commission. Noi siamo personalmente molto lieti perché essendo qui all'Italian Academy abbiamo provato per anni per invitare la alta rappresentante Mogherini per visitarci. Prima era Ministro degli Esteri italiano, and we really tried to get her here, and I'm very grateful to the European Institute for finally having succeeded in bringing you here today. It's a critical time, as we know, not only for Europe, but also for the world. So I'm even more pleased that High Representative Mogherini has taken some time from her extraordinarily busy schedule to come and see us here at Columbia. I think, as most of you know, as the EU High Representative, Ms. Mogherini played a major role in the negotiation and signing of the nuclear agreement with Iran in July of last year. This is the part of the notes which was prepared for me by François de Carrel of the European Institute, and of course we know about that, but there's so many other things, as we read in the press, which High Representative Mogherini is involved in leading, taking extraordinarily tough both political and moral decisions. I think one of the things that I've always appreciated about High Representative Mogherini is the way in which the political decisions are never left unattended by the moral consequences of the actions that she is obliged to execute under pressure of all extraordinary kinds. So our admiration goes out to you for managing to sustain such a complicated task in such extraordinarily difficult times. Federica Mogherini has also been closely involved in devising and implementing Europe's response to the many crises which currently face the continent and the world. And I, as some of you may know, being the director as well of a German institute which transferred to London in 1933, the Warburg Institute, of course, I was there on the 26th of June when Britain made what seemed to me the terrible decision to leave the EU. We in the academic world are suffering and very perplexed about the future. I myself have a staff and a lot of students, the majority of students come from Europe. So we are facing European issues now, both here, the consequences of European issues, because obviously Europe issues around Syria, for example, impact American policy extraordinarily. So here we find the European community right at the center of world issues and world crises. I am sure that High Representative Mogherini will play an extraordinary role in resolving them. She today will present to us, not quite done yet, she will present to us the new global strategy for the Union's foreign and security policy, a strategy which she has just released this summer. I'm extraordinarily grateful to you for being with us today. We're much looking forward to hearing your thoughts about these challenges facing the Union. But I'm also delighted today to introduce Professor Jack Snyder, an old friend who is a personal friend, a friend of the Academy, always present at our events. He is the Robert and Renee Belfer Professor of International Relations in the Department of Political Science and the Salzman Institute of War and Peace Studies at Columbia. I'm not going to go through all the books because we really want to hear. All professors are supposed to publish books. He's got tenure at Columbia. He's known all over the world, so we assume they're at the top of the tree. We want to hear the High Representative. But Professor can't imagine a better person than Professor Snyder to moderate this discussion. So before closing, I just want to thank the many co-sponsors who have joined the European Institute and the Italian Academy in organizing this event, the Alliance Program, the Italian Cultural Institute, the Istituto Italiano di Cultura, come voi sapete, and the European Union's Getting to Know Europe program. So now, without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to our very welcome guest who will present the new EU global strategy. Join me in welcoming High Representative Mogherini.
Thank you. Even if such a warm and even Italian welcome would encourage me in speaking Italian, but I guess that is not foreseen, and then I would have to rewrite my speech completely. So, first of all, Professor Friedberg, Professor Snyder, friends, let me tell you that it's really a pleasure for me to be here. Finally, we made it. We've tried for a long time. Maybe it's the European Union managing where Italy is not. But for me, it's really a pleasure to be here at the Italian Academy, one of the most prestigious centers for Italian studies in the US. After such a full week here in New York at the UN, it feels very much like being back home. And I say it for real, because just today someone was telling me, so you're going back home? No, I'll be going back to Brussels, which is not exactly the same for someone that is born in Rome, but I guess you understand that. So here I really feel I am not only among friends, but also I'm somehow a bit back home. And it is a pleasure to be hosted by the European Institute at Columbia, the most ancient academic institution for European studies here in the United States. I know, I've been told, the European Institute was founded in 1948, correct? You know? Before you ask me the questions, I ask you some. And that is exactly the same time when the Marshall Plan was being set up. Back then, Europe's economy was devastated by the war, and the United States came to our help. Today, despite the financial crisis, the European Union and the United States are the two biggest economies in the world. And I believe in today's world, our transatlantic bond is even more crucial than it used to be back in 1948. This is about global politics, for sure, and we'll get there, but it's also something else, something deeper, something that goes to the core of our societies. Of course, at first look, apart from this island of Italy and Europe, Europe and America seem quite different. The cities are different, even the cars, the food, the electoral campaigns, even if when I get to the electoral campaigns I have my doubts it's so different. But jokes apart, the challenges we face today, the challenges our societies, our people face today are very similar. I'm sure most of you have listened or read President Obama's speech at the UN a few days ago. Whenever he mentioned a major challenge for our liberal democracies,